Good day. If you've ever been interested in listening to 20 minutes of droning over top of Triblade with training wheel, wizard, urban freeskate rollerski blade footage, then you've come to the right place. And also, the more that you do commentaries or vlogs, core points are lost. So just remember that, kids, and probably people who are over 30 that are, I guess you lose all your core points at 35. Anyways, Leon had the idea of making a new wizard sample. The question was always, after making the 100 and the 110, how long could a frame be if the rocker's right? Like, how long is too long for a frame? Because we don't really know yet with rocker. And in early February, I received these beautiful 5-wheel samples in the mail, along with some wish frame samples, which are also awesome. These frames felt dangerous when you held them in your hand, and they looked dangerous when you put wheels in them and did the first roll. But in absolutely freezing temperatures and snow and ice at the skate park, I had to go test them the next day. Because like any new product, you're just inspired to see what comes up for tricks. So the first two things I did was a little heel stall and toe stall. I was excited to see when the wheels extended out that much, what would happen for trick ideas. That wall ride wouldn't normally be able to do in aggressives because the sole would scrape up. And in the summertime, the dirt would be too soft, so the frozen temperature and longer frame was perfect to ride that little thing. That's me trying to pretend I'm in the bunch with like a butter nose press thing. This felt amazing with like the new rocker and the extra frame length, because I had done that in the hundreds before, but it felt way better in this setup. That I don't think I had ever done before, and I want to keep working on that. That wasn't executed properly because how I started with a roll and didn't go into a wheel slide. This is me imitating Danny Beer from the Dino 3 mixtape with, I don't know whether to call it a heel tap or tail tap, or none of these things have trick names. That's obviously a wheel slide, but like, what the hell are we supposed to call that? A heel stall? Because you're not stalling on your heels. You're using like the back wheel of your skate. This is me trying to imitate Colin Martin. Even then you can see I have the habit of the 4-wheel wizards. I'm still not popping off that back wheel. Like anything, you carry habits from your previous skates. This is me trying to learn to really lean into that front wheel. And you see my feet will be spaced a lot because of bad habits. That's me doing a ollie to nollie or nollie to ollie. Again, I'm so used to stalling on that front wheel from the 4-wheel wizards that I can't help it. Here you'll see I have a dominant leg. Leon's a master at pressing off of both heels and both toes. I think that's what really makes the skating look good in these. This I was super excited about. Under taps to learn with the toes and the heels, where you can almost grind on that extra little space that comes out the back. That wasn't too different, and I still think there's more to master. That's a trick that I did in Better Than Baseball, and I want to explore that more. This again is kind of imitating skiing. Horrible grab, but the hair looked great in that shot. This is again learning to use that front space on the wheel, and there's the awful spacing. Those kids were like, what is this guy doing? That was one of my favorite feeling things when the frames were like, when I was first trying them, is like really having that front space to press on. Again, not the right wheels for this kind of skating. This was so weird because you don't have like the H-block space in the middle kind of feel from the other wizards, but you're able to kind of swivel on that middle wheel. That would have looked way better from a distance. It was like a popper to conveyor. That felt extra unique and you can see I'm starting to get used to it. That is the position off the heels of that jump is not really possible. Well, it's kind of possible in Wizards, but not. Way too much space on that toe. This is where I started to realize that for me, the liner and ankle area of the skate, although it works for some tricks like this, where you can really flick it, I gotta do that trick more. That's fast slide cess to, it's like a fast slide med spin thing. Using the under tap again. I think that's what that's called. I need to start naming some of these things or asking people what the names are. That looked a little clunky. You can see the weight of the frames there. So then I ordered these Pro Tongue ski liners. I ordered the stiffest possible liner that we could get. That was the first time I had done that one. Heel tap, toe tap. And the liners, they look really crazy, although the red color is cool. They were the stiffest Intuition ski liner, and they did actually fit in the skates really well. And also I put the K2 cuff on there too, because I get it tighter than the Seba cuff. And this is a very, very extreme, far away, probably as far away from revs as you get. Like, there is no toe point in that liner for how high it is. And I think for people who think that the Shima liner was high, I think this is way higher than that. But look at how you can lean so far back into it, like on that double heel into wheel slide. There was ways that you could control. Again, Leon's a master at keeping the feet close together. Gotta keep it close together. Another little under tap. Still can't get that right. This liner had so much power, is the only way I can describe it. Like, you could see the skating before was more freestyle, and the shock absorption and the power and the way it drove the skate. The skating's simpler in it because you don't have the range of motion in the ankle. I hit all 3 bars on that one. I'm very proud of myself, but sometimes the technical details are hard to grab on tape. See, I call that a nollie because you can pop super high off of the front of the skate, but I feel bad that it's a skateboarding term that skiing took, but that's what it's called in skiing, so I don't know, should we rename it? That kind of stuff feels amazing. Having extra space for, I wouldn't normally drop in on a wheel slide in aggressive skates because I'd be afraid of death. But in these, it just feels, the control, especially in that liner, feels really good. Here's me doing another version of that trick. I don't know what it's called. Whoa, arm swing. One of the worst things you can do for style, swinging those arms around, unless you're Sagona and you're in control of your arm swings. Right there, you can see I came off of the toe, but a very primitive version of whatever that trick is, but I want to explore that more. The first toe slide to bum drop. Toe slides are very unique in the 5 wheels. I love doing that. Again, a little bit too much space, staggering between the heels, but you can fully control double heels, lean all the way back into that liner. I was really excited to do this, not the right angle for it, but being able to grab that back wheel with my hand, like just grab onto the entire wheel. That's a Colin Martin inspired trick, but you can see the liner there. Just so much support, and you can really pop super high. At first, you put them on and you think that they feel limiting because of the high back, but there's a really basic, powerful way of skating them. And a lot of this stuff, like, I was hoping, that took a lot of tries, but I was very proud of it. Like a rail, like being able to launch off the rail with the heel. This trick felt amazing. You can see how the heel flicked off of the ledge there. This is a hammer in Kamloops, but since I'm so tall, like, that is not the greatest style, but if you ever see that in person, it's way bigger, but I'm tall. That I did in big wheels too. I kind of cased the landing there, but I'm still proud of that trick. What do we got here? Oh, a little shifty to... Yeah. That was a good one. A lot of this stuff I'm so curious. I haven't had the chance to have a filming session with Todd. Like, I want to see what this stuff looks like on fisheye. Missed the other foot on that one. Especially some of the lines that I have in this, like, simple fast lines. That's really hard trying to wheel slide on the back too, because again, there's so many habits that you have from thinking your wheel placement is in one side. Little toe slide. This I thought would have looked way cooler, but it didn't turn out. You always think you're squatting so much, and then you look at the footage and realize you're not squatting at all. That turned out better than it felt. I thought that was a huge dud. I had always wanted to do that trick. That's like more of a 100mm wizard trick. So was that one. But if you do master them in the 5-wheel, they look a certain way. That is a good example of the shock absorption and drive of that frame that I gapped all the way to the flat. On that, little sketchy. Was trying to do double toe to wheel slide. You can go so fast in this setup, and there's so much support, and the tongue is so stiff. Everything's so stiff on that liner. So you can see there's a lack of range of motion in the toe point there, but I still had enough speed to gap off of that spine. You can't see how big it is, but that's, people who know that park, that's a big spine gap. I don't normally hit it from that side. Like, that was so sweet. There was a bit of a wheel slide, and then bam, pop off the heel with 1 foot. You could see that parent in the background was very impressed. This felt good, but I mean, there's nothing new or different about that. You can do that in many different setups. So like that air kind of stuff, I haven't fully, there's like the weight of the frame, you can kind of throw it around, and I think there's possibilities for airs. That is, again, like, I didn't fully use the frame. I didn't pop off. See, when you pop off the heels there, or pop off the toes, there's a big difference in how high you go. And when I went off the hump there, it just was not, you could tell I did it like it was a 4-wheel frame or an aggressive frame. There's a lot to do, how it was, I was trying to go edges on one side to edges the other, so like a S curve into the bank, but there's still lots of things that you have little breakthroughs. Like, there's some days where you do things that I was trying to gap to the flat, and you know, just didn't have it in me that day. Too much fear, maybe. I don't know. What did I think was gonna happen? There's days where you have breakthroughs. See, that's using the you got to feel that last wheel or the front wheel still touching as you launch off, and then it just pops you so high, and then that's popping off. See, even there, I had only popped off of one of the wheels, not both. But you have breakthroughs, and when you really get a trick, kind of like that one, wasn't perfect, but when you really sit into them or press into them, you have little breakthroughs that give you more ideas. And then boom, I thought, I gotta try this. I gotta do this just a little bit. And it actually worked really good, to the point that an aluminum H-block would slide. I forgot how good aluminum felt to grind. It makes a really cool sound too. So I had to try this. I had this on my mind. I would love an aluminum H-block for those things. It feels insane. And someone was asking if you still have a rocker when you use them without the middle wheel. Yeah, you do, definitely. It feels like a really short anti-rocker big wheel frame with like higher up training wheels on the outside. Again, super primitive ideas. that might be limited by the height of that liner in terms of the expression of body movement, but just, you know, starting to feel out the frame more. That there's nothing really unique about that, and you can see I was still not fully. There's like a lot of power in that frame that you can really push into, and you'll see sometimes I'm able to do it and sometimes I'm not, and sometimes there's old four-wheel wizard habits or aggressive habits, and sometimes there's not. That was a really good example of the high back of the liner affecting. You almost have to squash more to get a toe point. I love the glare off of the frame there. Looked really good. I don't think there was anything particularly special about that. There's not, you can kind of do that in any skate. Trying that again, the I don't know, step up gap where there's no step up gap. That felt incredible. Having a little bit more length in the heel to ride up the wall. And then, yeah, this liner absorbs shock really, really, really well. The footbed fits in it really well, and just when it's that stiff, I don't know, the way that energy transfers. This is a small victory for me that I was able to wheel slide this bank and then gap this box, but I think this is something that would look way better on fisheye. Oh, and I cased it a little bit. That would have looked way better on fisheye. Doing a one-footed grind, taking that middle wheel out again. That skill felt really good. I think it lacked a little bit of style, but I liked how I think there was a counter rotation in it. I'm not totally sure. And then see that swivels, all the wheels weren't touching, and it still looks like I'm getting used to. That liner's not like a swivelly type of a liner. It's a driving straight forward, simple trick liner. So you skate them a lot differently when you have the traditional feet too far apart there. That backslide, wheel slide though, felt really nice. Yeah, you skate them way different when you have the traditional liner, but I was liking just the shock absorption, and it was forcing me to think a little bit different and simple. And then Leon sent me these blocks that I was super skeptical about. He sent me this video from the shop of him sliding on these old ground control blocks, and I was super skeptical that they were gonna work, and they worked amazing. Like, they're almost hard to get off when you take the middle wheel out and you like kick your foot against the ledge to fit them in. I think he did some like work. Are those? No, they're not. There's another intuition sample, but I don't know if it's in this edit. That trick felt really good. So again, just exploring the extra length, but it's not quite there yet. I don't know. I don't know if there's an even longer frame to be made, or it's in the primitive versions. I don't know. It's all exploratory in the end. You're just trying to find. That was a bad double toe. Gotta keep those feet together. But yeah, the block worked really good. I'm very impressed. There you can see there's a little bit of butteriness on the frame still, even though it's that middle wheel's gone. There's a bit of a rocker there. I feel like a vert skater. That was like a Cesar Mora thing to like go up in disaster backside, but no one had ever heel pop. You're probably getting so tired of hearing heel pop or toe pop, or I don't know what that I guess that's called a conveyor, but I don't know what it's called when you do a grind. Ooh, that's me pretending to do what's called a surface swap, but I don't know if that's what I actually did there. I also ate shit this day. I was getting really cocky, dropping into the quarter pipes and thought I was in aggressive skates and tripped over the toe wheel, and my knee smashed into the ground. But that's actually only happened the one time, and it was because I was grinding and getting confident with it. Super chunky ledge, trying to do that like little heel thing. Maybe this footage went too fast. Again, exploring new forms, but it being extremely primitive. That's kind of what the 5... Leon is starting to master it, but it's still in extremely primitive stages, and that was all... It didn't become public until August, I think, when Big Wheels 5 came out. And yeah, that was all the stuff that I didn't use in Big Wheels 5 that I was just sending to Leon, and I think Colin and Todd, whether they liked it or not. As I said in the last video, if you send me like a new thing to try, I just need an excuse to go out and film stuff. And I think filming testing videos, you also lose core points for that. So, I mean, all of my core points are gone at this point. I get them back sometimes when I skate without a helmet in V13s in clothing that is somewhat acceptable. But I don't know if I can get all my core points back by making these product testing videos and then doing a commentary on them. It's bad. It's bad. Core points that I can't get back. But yeah, this is all the footage that became 5-wheel wizard testing. And I have no answer whether it's the right frame or the future or anything, but it's something that we're going to continue to explore. And you, like I said, just like the 4-wheel wizards, you would have little breakthroughs that make you go in different directions with them. And one thing I forgot to say was that based on my findings skating them with the normal intuition liner, I do think the skate is driven better by a stiffer liner, but the samples didn't come out quite right. I think there's footage of Leon skating them on one skate in Big Wheels 5. But I have no right answer. It's like, do you like them without the block or with the Proton liner or with the old intuition liner? I have no answers. I'm just going to keep skating them and doing below average primitive moves in them until whatever crazy idea Leon wants to make next, I'll skate that too. And I'll make a testing video, whether people like it or not, and then I'll do a commentary on it, and then I'll be so negative in core points that there's just no way for me to ever be core again.